Working in retail is never easy, especially when you have to deal with a bunch of crazies. Welcome to this episode of Tales from Retail. Our first tale is from Can of GMs titled "Non-Mask Wearing Jerk Screwed All of Us Over." Last night, February 4th, was a bad night in general. There were barely any nice customers, and everyone was just really rude. I was near tears all night long, but this one jerk and his jerk son took the night away. I apologize for confusing writing. I'm still pissed about it. There were 3 other employees working that I'll just refer to as A, B, and C. A went on break, so I was up at the registers to cover her. I was just trying to catch my breath for a bit before these 3 customers came up to the candy, which is right by the registers. They were going over all the tables, talking about the really low prices and how astounding they were, which is common. The jerk and his jerk son weren't wearing masks, but the wife was wearing a mask, albeit wrong, under the nose. It was just normal customer talk until Jerk brought up that he had found a water bottle sitting in a cart. I perked up and was listening because my water bottle was sitting in my cart out on the floor. I hadn't opened it yet because I simply didn't have the time. Jerk then says he opened it up and spit in it. I was furious and disgusted. I checked with my fellow coworkers to make sure they didn't have a bottle of water sitting in their cart. They didn't, so it had to be mine. While checking them out, wife picked up a face shield and sat it down to buy. Jerk and Jerk's son started making fun of her for it. Wife said, "You won't be laughing when you get COVID." To which Jerk replied, "Everybody's going to get COVID, I'll see to that." Which makes them spitting in someone else's water all the more horrible. After A came back from break, I told her and B what had happened and went to check my water bottle. Sure enough, the seal was broken and it was cloudy. They spit in my freaking water. I didn't even get one sip out of it. I went and found C to tell him what happened, and he asked me who it was. I described the people who did it, and of course, they did something to him too. In carpets, Jerk looked C dead in the eyes with a smile, walked past him, and let out a disgusting smelly fart. Literally purposefully crop dusted poor C. Someone had also ripped open a bag of candy and stuck a plunger to the floor. And even though we can't prove it was them, we're still pretty sure the jerks did it based off these 2 incidents. Edit. Thanks for the support and concern, everyone. I just want to acknowledge your concerns and questions. This happened last night and I wasn't really thinking much about bioterrorism. It was a crap night in general, and this guy just made it worse. I tossed the bottle in the trash, so I can't collect it and send it to the cops. As much as I hate people like this, getting into a legal dispute right now isn't what I need right now. I'll leave that decision to management. I told my manager on duty last night I'm gonna tell my store GM today so he can pass it on to who needs to hear it and make all the decisions. This isn't the first incident like this either. A few weeks ago, someone drank half of another coworker's water. While this is just an example of people who weren't taught as children, if something isn't yours, keep your hands off of it. I mean, honestly, it's simple. I don't think they would like people touching their stuff, so to go around and touch other people's, it's beyond me. This next tale is by Pawood47, titled, "But I Want That Bag." A decade ago, back when I was fresh out of college and getting a real job, if retail counts as a real job, I started working at a big box store as a cashier. I grew up very conscious of waste, and so I started out trying my best to give customers as much shopping bag as they needed and no more. We had tiny bags, normal bags, and giant bags. One night a customer was buying just 1 or 2 normal sized bottles of Gatorade, or they were the last 2 things of an order, and everything else but not those fit in one normal bag. They were just about the perfect size for the tiny bag, so I started to put them in the tiny bag.
"Wait, I don't want that bag. I want the normal bag. Those heavy bottles will go right through the plastic."
Now, this was my first retail job, and I guess I still thought I was a normal human being when wearing the uniform, and I knew those bags had pretty much the same strength because they all had the same construction, just a different size. I was confident that the tiny bag would hold those bottles fine, So I said, a little confused but prodding, "But it's the same plastic?" I don't remember how what she said next started, but it ended with,
"We could cancel my order and I'll take my business elsewhere. Or maybe we should get a manager."
"Here's your normal bag, ma'am. This is your total. Thank you. Good night." She went straight to the customer service desk to complain about me anyway. The shift manager and desk clerk came to me after she talked to them and left in a huff. Apparently, they were both baffled by her story and needed me to even clarify what she wanted. One of them said, "But it is the same plastic?" And that's the story of how I died a little for the first time. I mean, maybe they've had a bad experience with a small bag in the past, but I mean, to act like that even after you gave them what they asked for, it just shows it's almost like they were looking to try to get something free or a gift card or something. Our next tale is from Ronsky Gorzama, titled "Lady Tells Me That My Shoe Store Doesn't Sell Enough Real Shoes." I work at a big chain shoe store that is kind of biased about what it sells. It's predominantly women's shoes, with men's shoes shoved into a few rows on the left side and a small kids section. We sell about half athletic shoes and half everything else because most of our major suppliers are brands like Nike, Adidas, and such. This lady in her late 40s, early 50s comes in and makes a beeline for the back right corner where our women's heels and formal shoes are. She's back there for a good 20 minutes and didn't seem to need help and wasn't suspicious in any way, so I didn't pay much attention to her. Finally, she comes up to the counter with a pair of heeled loafers. I ring her up normally and we're chatting. She seems a little annoyed, but I didn't really think much of it until...
"You guys need to sell more real shoes."
"What do you mean by real shoes?" She points to her ugly loafers she's buying.
"You need more shoes like these. Sneakers, flip-flops, boots. None of those are real shoes. You need to sell ones that are smart and practical."
I just went along with it because she was getting agitated and I didn't want to deal with a pissed off customer. Yeah, I do wish we had a better selection of heels, but then we get inventory based on what sells the most, and that's athletic shoes. She just rolled her eyes at me and huffed. I finish the transaction and bag up the shoes. As she's walking out the door, she just had to get the last word in.
"Just sell real shoes."
So yeah, newsflash, any other shoe besides ugly loafers aren't real and aren't practical. Sorry to break it to you. I look at it like if a shoe can go on your foot and it stays on your foot, then it's smart and practical because it's protecting your foot from all of the other stuff that could be stabbing into it as you walk. And our final tale is by Stewcumber, titled "Someone Has Never Been Told No Before." This is an old one, but it's stuck in my mind as an example of the overprivilege some people have. Hopefully I haven't embellished it too much in the subsequent years of retelling. On mobile, apologies for any formatting errors. I'm working as an assistant manager in a shop in the weeks following Christmas one year. We have a display of boxed chocolates and other sweet gifts. There's an older lady perusing the selection as I'm tidying shelves, checking stock levels, etc., when I hear a loud, very posh voice.
"Excuse me, you there?"
"Can I help you, madam?"
"Yes, I'm looking for a box of chocolates."
"Anything in particular?"
"Well, just something to replace these."
She had with her, in her hand, a box of chocolates that we sold. That much I could see. I mentioned that I'd be happy to help her find a replacement. I knew these weren't exclusive to us, it could be found elsewhere locally, so I asked if she had a receipt.
"Oh no,"
she replied hotly.
"I didn't buy them. They were a gift. My grandchildren told me they bought them here."
"Oh, okay. That shouldn't be a problem. We're a small town, and I would normally recognize the customer, but we have a few well-off, older people that rarely visit the local shops, and I thought I'd give her the benefit of the doubt. She was a bit superior, and I was determined to be professional and polite. May I just ask, what's the problem with the chocolates you are returning?" I asked.
"Oh, there's nothing wrong with them. I just don't like them."
It was at this point I became a little suspicious. "I'm sorry, could I just see which ones they are?" I said. It was at this point when she held the box out. I could see that they had been opened, the seal broken and the inner packaging loose. "I'm sorry, madam," I told her. "This box has been opened. I can't accept a return if the product isn't faulty."
Well, of course it's open. I had to try them. That's how I know I don't like them.
"But there's nothing actually wrong with them? They're not moldy or contaminated."
No, I just don't like them.
Her condescending tone was starting to get to me. "I'm sorry, madam. I won't be able to accept these for a return as the product was in good condition when we sold them, and they've been open since."
This is atrocious. How am I supposed to know if I like something if I can't open it? I will not be shopping here again.
With that, she stormed out. This might have carried some weight if she had actually ever deigned to shop in here in the first place. The audacity to ask for a replacement for a food product that had been in perfectly good condition until she had partially eaten it, and then she hadn't paid for it in the first place? True to her word, we never saw her again. I feel like with this, there could be 3 different possibilities. The first is she got it as a gift, ate the stuff, really didn't like it, tried to return it. B, got it as a gift, ate the stuff, thought she could quote exchange it and get more to eat. Or C, found the empty box in the trash and thought she could pull a fast one. Alright, that's enough tales for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Tales from Retail. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell. It really helps me out. And drop a comment down below. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.